Get the Guy, by Matthew Hussey. Introduction. Imagine for a moment a young man, barely out of his teens, who felt utterly lost with women. He'd watch other boys, seemingly without effort, talk to the girls they liked, while he was stuck on the sidelines, feeling invisible. This frustration didn't defeat him, it ignited a fire. He dedicated himself to understanding the hidden rules of human connection, of attraction, of what makes people tick. He coached thousands upon thousands of men, over 10,000 of them, teaching them how to find the confidence to connect with women. They called him the real-life hitch, a professional date doctor. But one day, standing in front of a room of 300 men, he asked a question that would change his life, and the lives of millions of women around the world. He asked, "Who here just wants to get laid?" About 60% of the hands went up. Then he asked, "And who here wants to find a great, meaningful relationship?" Every single hand in the room went up. That was the moment Matthew Hussey realized he was holding a secret that most women didn't know. Deep down, men want the same thing women do: a lasting, meaningful connection. He realized that all the intelligence he had gathered about the male mind could be shared with women, not as a way to play games, but as a way to empower them to find the love they deserved. That discovery led to this book, Get the Guy. And today, we're going to journey through its pages. This isn't just about learning a few clever lines or dating tactics. This is about a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and your role in the world of love. By the end of our time together, you will understand not only the secrets of the male mind, but how to build a life so full of passion and purpose that the right person will feel lucky just to be a part of it. You will learn how to stop leaving your love life to chance and start creating the opportunities you desire, all while becoming what the author calls a woman of high value. Book summary. Let me ask you a question that Matthew Hussey asks at the very beginning of his work. How many new men do you meet in an average week? Not just passing on the street, but a genuine interaction, a real conversation. For most people, the answer is 1, or maybe even 0. And therein lies the problem we all face. We've been taught a fairy tale. We've been told by movies and stories that love is a product of fate, that one day, destiny will magically drop our perfect person right in front of us at a bus stop. So, we wait. We focus on our careers, our friends, our hobbies, and we assume that our love life will just happen. But years can pass, and that lack of urgency slowly turns into a quiet panic. We start asking, where are all the good men? Elsea tells us that they are all around us. The problem isn't a scarcity of good men. It's a scarcity of opportunity. A problem of our own making. The first and most profound lesson of this book is that you have a choice. At every moment, you can either be waiting for life to happen to you, or you can be creating it. Waiting is easy, you just do nothing. But creating opens up a world of endless possibilities. To find the right person, you must first increase your odds, and to do that, you have to meet more people. Not just 1 or 2, but a lot more. Elsea visualizes this with a simple but powerful idea. The funnel. Imagine a large funnel where you pour in all the new people you meet, men and women. This first funnel is not about being selective. It's about practicing conversation, about joining the human race and simply interacting with the world around you. From that large group, only the men you find attractive pass through to a second, smaller funnel. From there, only the ones you'd actually want to date move to a third, and so on, until you are left with the one person truly worthy of a relationship. This approach transforms your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. When you believe there are plenty of good men out there, you stop clinging to the first decent one who comes along. You gain the confidence to choose, rather than waiting to be chosen. But this whole process begins with a much deeper internal journey. Before you can attract an extraordinary person, you must first be an extraordinary person. This is the core of the entire philosophy, becoming what Hussey calls a woman of high value. It's not about looks, or money, or status. It's about cultivating 4 essential traits. First is self-confidence, or as he calls it, certainty. This is a deep, unshakable belief in your own worth. A woman with certainty knows that any man's life would be better for having her in it. She doesn't seek approval, because she already has it from herself. When you are certain of your own value, you project an energy that makes others feel special just for being in your presence. He feels that if a woman with such high standards is giving him her time, he must be worthy of it. Second is independence. Hussey puts it simply, Before you get the guy, you've got to get a life. A woman of high value has a life she adores, filled with passions, hobbies, and meaningful activities. She isn't looking for a man to fill a void. She's looking for someone worthy of sharing her already full and wonderful life. To a man, this is incredibly attractive. It signals that she won't be needy or smothering, which is a common male fear. The message she sends is clear. I am a complete person without you, but I desire to have you in my life because you are worthy of it. Third is integrity. This is about knowing your principles and sticking to them. A woman of integrity doesn't change her values to match a man's, just to win his approval. This isn't just about big moral issues, it's in the small things, like being polite to a waiter or refraining from gossip. To a man, this signals that you are trustworthy and that he will be held to a higher standard, which challenges him to be his best self. Finally, there is femininity. Now, this isn't about being weak or submissive. In fact, it's about a strength that is uniquely female. A man is fundamentally attracted to a woman's femininity because it allows him to feel masculine. This taps into his deepest, most primal instinct, the need to protect and provide. It doesn't mean he needs to be the breadwinner. It means he needs to feel he provides something you couldn't live without, even if it's just emotional support or making you feel safe. When you say, "I really missed you today," you are validating his role in your life. This leads to a simple, yet profound, rule. If a man offers you his jacket, just take it. It doesn't matter if you're cold. In that moment, he isn't trying to be patronizing. He's trying to feel accepted. By accepting his help, you are accepting him. You're telling him, okay, you're allowed to take care of me. So now you are building this incredible life, embodying these high-value traits. But how do you bridge the gap between your inner world and the outer world? How do you meet someone without feeling like you're chasing them? This brings us to one of the book's most elegant concepts, the white handkerchief approach. Back in Victorian times, a woman couldn't overtly pursue a man. So, if she saw a gentleman she was interested in, she might accidentally drop her white handkerchief as she passed him. The gallant hero would pick it up, rush to return it, and a conversation would begin. He would believe fate had dropped a perfect opportunity in his path. But she would know the truth. She orchestrated the entire interaction. She chose him, and she made the first move, but in disguise. So what is the modern-day white handkerchief? It's about giving a man a clear, risk-free signal that it's okay to approach you. Because Hussey's great secret from coaching men is this: the more attracted a guy is to you, the less likely he is to approach. The fear of public humiliation, of being shot down in front of his friends, is so powerful that most men would rather do nothing than risk it. Your modern handkerchief has 3 parts. First is the look. This isn't a quick, nervous glance. It's a 2-step process. First, a brief, half-second look to get on his radar. Then, a moment later, a second look, this time held a little longer, with a slight, warm smile. A smile makes a man 70% more likely to approach than eye contact alone. It's your way of saying, yes, I saw you, and I'm curious. Second, if the look isn't enough, you get closer. You remove the obstacle of him having to walk across a crowded room. You find a reason to be near him, browse the same section in a bookstore, order a drink at the same time at the bar. You make it easy for him to turn and say hello. And third, the most powerful tool of all, the small favor. Approaching a guy and saying, "I could really use your help with something," is a magical phrase. His brain immediately lights up. The man in him wants to help, to be of service. The favor can be ridiculously simple. Can you hold my jacket for 2 seconds while I give these drinks to my friends? He will almost never refuse. And in that moment, when you return to thank him, a conversation has begun naturally, and he feels like the hero. Once you're in that conversation, the goal is to move beyond dull small talk. Hussey gives us the ultimate formula for attraction, a combination of 4 elements that create a deep and lasting bond. It starts with visual chemistry. This is not about being a supermodel. Hussey calls this perceived beauty, which is created through behavior, how you carry yourself, your playful energy, your confidence. It's the charisma that makes you magnetic, regardless of your objective looks. Next comes perceived challenge. This is not about playing hard to get. A woman who plays hard to get pretends to be busy. A high-value woman is busy. A perceived challenge means you have high standards, and he has to earn his place in your life. You're not a conquest to be won, but a partner to be earned. Then there's perceived value. This is where your independent, passionate life comes in. A man commits to a woman when he realizes that being with her gives him experiences he could never have alone. You're not just a challenge, you're a prize worth fighting for because you have a world he wants to join. And finally, connection. This is the emotional bond that makes him feel understood. You move beyond facts? What do you do for a living? And seek values? If money were no issue, what would you spend your life doing? You get him to talk about his passions, his dreams, and in doing so, he associates those positive feelings with you. As you build this attraction, the question of physical intimacy will arise. Hussey's advice on this is clear and profound. The question is not, how many dates should I wait? The real question is, have we reached the emotional hook point? The emotional hook point is that moment when he is emotionally invested. It's when he's thinking about you when you're not around, when he realizes you are special and irreplaceable. Sex before this point can be tricky. For a man, sex doesn't automatically create an emotional bond. He can feel intense physical passion while remaining emotionally detached. The goal is to establish the emotional connection first, so that sex becomes a way to deepen that bond, rather than a substitute for it. And a man's deepest sexual anxiety is the thought that he just had a woman anyone could have had. He needs to feel that he earned it, that something unique about him made you choose him over everyone else. Now, let's say you've done all of this. You're building a connection, and things are moving toward a relationship. This is the stage Hussey calls keeping the guy, and it's where many people stumble, because they think the work is done. In reality, it's just beginning. To build a lasting bond, you need to understand a man's 5 deepest needs in a relationship. First, he needs sexual validation. We've touched on this, but in a long-term relationship, it's paramount. He needs to feel that he can turn you on, that he is your man. When you tell him, "It really turns me on when you do that," he will never, ever forget it. You are essentially giving him the blueprint to your pleasure, and he will want to follow it. Second, he needs someone who recognizes his uniqueness. He wants to feel that you see something special in him that no one else does. When you praise him, be specific. Instead of a generic, "You're so sweet," say, "I love that you have this strong, masculine side, but you also notice the small, beautiful things in the world." He will feel seen and understood by you in a way that makes you irreplaceable. Third, he needs a loyal teammate. A great relationship is a team of 2, where you both have each other's backs. This means supporting his goals, defending him in public, and believing in his dreams. It's the simple feeling that, no matter what, you are on his side. Fourth, as we discussed, he needs to protect and provide. Even in a world of equals, he still needs to feel he serves a purpose in your life. You can be a strong, independent woman and still need your man. Sharing your vulnerability after a tough day and letting him comfort you allows him to fulfill this primal need. And fifth, he needs to be nurtured and supported. The greatest way to nurture a man is to believe in him. When you show him that you believe in his vision and his potential, you give him a strength he can't get anywhere else. Finally, what about that ultimate step? Commitment. Many men are afraid of commitment, but it's not commitment itself they fear. They fear what they associate with it: the end of fun, freedom, and adventure. The trick is not to convince him with words, but to show him with your actions that a life with you is more adventurous, more exciting, and more fulfilling than any fantasy he has about being single. You do this by continuing to be that high-value woman with her own amazing life. Hussey uses a wonderful metaphor. Your life is a train about to leave the station for exciting destinations. The man you're dating is on the platform. He knows the itinerary, and he's welcome to climb aboard. But the train will not wait for him. If he chooses to get on, the journey will be incredible. But if he hesitates, the train is leaving without him, because you have places to go. This isn't a game. It's the reality of a woman who values herself and her time. And when a man sees that your train is headed somewhere amazing, he won't want to be left behind. Commentary. As we draw our journey through Get the Guide to a close, it's easy to see the book as a clever manual on dating dynamics. And it is. But to leave it there would be to miss its deepest and most important message. This book, at its heart, is not really about getting a guy. It's about getting a life. It's a blueprint for building an existence so rich, so full of passion, and so aligned with your own values that a relationship becomes a wonderful addition, not a desperate necessity. The most powerful lesson Matthew Hussey offers is the shift from a passive to an active role in your own story. The idea of creating, not waiting, applies to so much more than just love. It's a philosophy for life. It's about taking responsibility for your own happiness, for your own social circle, for your own adventures. When you live from a place of abundance, believing that opportunities are everywhere and that you are worthy of them, you stop operating from a place of fear and start operating from a place of confidence. What I find most beautiful in this work is the concept of the woman of high value. It redefines strength. It's not about being tough or guarded. It's about having a quiet certainty in your own worth. It's about being independent enough to have your own world, but open enough to let someone special into it. It's about holding firm to your integrity while also embracing the warmth and grace of your femininity. This isn't a persona you put on to impress someone. It's the person you become for yourself. The true magic of this approach is that it makes getting the guy a byproduct of living a great life. You're not contorting yourself to fit someone else's ideal. You're building your own ideal life. And in the process, you become a beacon for the right kind of person, someone who is drawn to your light, not someone you have to chase in the dark. So, how can you start applying these ideas today? Let's make it simple. First, practice creating small opportunities. The next time you buy a coffee or go to a store, make a point to have a simple, warm conversation with the person serving you. Ask them how their day is going and truly listen. This small ritual builds the social muscle you need for every other interaction in your life. Second, embrace the idea of letting him be a man. The next time a man offers you a small kindness, holding a door, offering to carry something, resist the urge to say, "I've got it." Simply smile and say, "Thank you." In that tiny moment, you're practicing the art of graciously accepting help, which allows him to feel valued. Third, begin to cultivate just one aspect of your own high-value life. What is one passion or interest you've put on the back burner? A cooking class? A hiking trail? A new language? Take one small step this week to bring that back into your life. Not for anyone else, but for you. That was our summary of Get the Guy by Matthew Hussey. We've explored the main pathways of his philosophy today, but a summary, no matter how detailed, is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The map can show you where to go, but it can never replace the feeling of walking those streets yourself, of smelling the air, of discovering a hidden alley that wasn't marked. The real transformation happens when you engage with the book directly. If any of the ideas we discussed today sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about absorbing information. It's an experience that can fundamentally change how you navigate the world, and more importantly, how you see your own incredible value within it. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please show your support by liking and subscribing to Billionaire's Bookshelf. It allows us to continue bringing you these journeys into the world's most impactful books. Let's keep learning and growing together.